Why do most people fail to command respect or power? Even when they work harder, speak louder, and mean well? The answer is simple: they talk too much. Today, you'll learn the 7 secrets you should never share, because once you do, you hand others the strings to your own control. Silence is not the absence of speech, it is the presence of control. Every time you choose not to speak, you are silently deciding what others will never use against you. Words are arrows. Once released, they cannot be recalled, and silence is the shield that keeps those arrows from ever leaving the bow. The man who understands the power of silence is not weak, timid, or fearful. He is calculating. He knows that silence unsettles people more than any spoken truth, because it denies them clarity. And in a world where everyone wants certainty, the one who withholds it becomes powerful. Most people fear silence because it exposes them. They rush to fill every pause, every gap in conversation, as if their worth depends on being understood. But those who are driven by the need to be understood will never be feared, respected, or obeyed. The more you explain yourself, the more you are reduced. Every word you speak becomes a clue to your inner map, your motives, your insecurities, your limits. Once people can read you, they can predict you, and once they can predict you, they can control you. Silence, then, is a form of armor. It forces others to guess, to interpret, to project. They fill the gaps with their own imagination, and imagination is always more powerful than truth. A silent man appears deeper, wiser, and more dangerous than he might truly be. His restraint forces others to measure their words carefully, to second-guess their assumptions, to walk lightly in his presence. The less you reveal, the more they assume you know. The more you talk, the more they learn where to strike. In moments of tension or conflict, silence is your strongest ally. When others lose control, when their emotions ignite and their voices rise, remain still. The one who stays silent in chaos becomes the center of gravity. He draws all energy toward himself. He allows others to exhaust themselves in explanation, justification, and emotional display, while he observes quietly, studying their weaknesses. People often mistake silence for passivity, but it is in fact an active power. It listens, collects, remembers, and strikes at the right time. There is also a strategic silence, the kind that breeds curiosity. In any circle, whether of friends, enemies, or rivals, there is always someone desperate to know what you are thinking. Deny them that satisfaction. When people cannot read your mind, they become uneasy. They start to compete for your attention, to impress you, to earn your words. Your silence becomes their pursuit. They begin to value every word you eventually choose to speak, as if it carries a secret they must decode. You no longer chase influence, it chases you. True silence is not merely about the mouth. It extends to the eyes, the gestures, the emotions. Learn to control your expressions. A silent face that betrays no emotion disarms the manipulator. Most people reveal themselves in micro-expressions. The small smiles, the subtle grimaces, the involuntary looks of fear or excitement. When you train yourself to remain unreadable, you take away the opponent's greatest weapon, insight. You become like a mirror. They see only their own reflection, not yours. History has always favored those who spoke less and did more. In courts, palaces, and modern offices alike, the one who listens more than he speaks often holds the real power. He gathers information while others scatter theirs. He sees patterns, alliances, and betrayals forming in real time, while the talkers drown in the noise of their own voices. When they finally realize the game being played, it's too late. The silent observer already knows where every piece on the board belongs. To master silence, you must first conquer the urge to defend yourself. Most people speak not to inform but to justify. They cannot stand being misunderstood, so they explain. They cannot stand being accused, so they defend. But every defense reveals fear. Every justification exposes vulnerability. The moment you feel compelled to prove your innocence or clarify your intentions, you have already surrendered authority. The wise remain calm under accusation, because they understand this rule: power is never explained, it is only demonstrated. Silence also grants you a psychological advantage. When you refuse to answer a question, to react to an insult, or to respond to gossip, you create a void. And human nature despises voids. Others will fill that silence with theories, excuses, or interpretations that may even serve your advantage. They will argue on your behalf while you remain quiet. You will make them work for your image, while your true self remains untouched behind a wall of calm mystery. It takes great discipline to stay silent when your ego demands to speak. The weak man speaks because he needs validation. The powerful man remains silent because he already knows who he is. Silence is the language of those who rule themselves first, before ruling others. It is the art of withholding truth until it becomes a weapon. Even in personal relationships, silence separates those who seek depth from those who seek attention. When you stop oversharing, you filter out the curious from the loyal. Only those truly worthy of your trust will endure the mystery of your quietness. The rest will grow uncomfortable and leave. Let them. Every person who cannot handle your silence is unworthy of your truth. There is a rhythm to power. Speak when it amplifies your strength. Remain silent when it exposes it. Never confuse honesty with transparency. You can be honest without revealing everything. Your silence should not be a wall but a gate. One that opens only when you decide it's time. The man who has mastered silence is never cornered, never predictable, and never fully known. He walks through noise untouched, carrying the weight of unspoken knowledge that keeps others guessing. Power does not belong to the honest. It belongs to the unreadable. The one who reveals his intent exposes the skeleton of his ambition. Every goal, every desire, every fear becomes visible for others to dissect and use. When people see your direction, they prepare their resistance. They begin to calculate how to slow you, block you, or outmaneuver you. But when your intentions remain hidden, every move you make seems unpredictable, every step seems effortless, and every result appears inevitable. Concealment is not deception for its own sake. It is protection. It shields your purpose from contamination, envy, and interference. In every circle, political, professional, or personal, people are constantly searching for patterns in your behavior. They listen to your tone, watch your choices, and extract meaning from every word you utter. They are not listening to understand you. They are listening to locate your weakness. When they cannot find your intent, they become frustrated. That frustration breeds hesitation, and hesitation is the soil where your advantage grows. The man who keeps his motives hidden turns every rival into a guesser, and every ally into a cautious observer. Revealing your goals too early invites opposition that might never have existed. When others know what you want, they begin to judge whether you deserve it. Some will envy you. Others will secretly plot to take it. Even those who claim to support you will quietly measure how your success might affect their position. Human nature does not favor the ambitions of others. It tolerates them until they become a threat. And once your intent becomes clear, it becomes a threat. The wiser path is to move in shadows until your result stands unchallenged in the light. Think of the way predators hunt, not by announcing their approach but by masking their movement until the prey is within reach. The powerful mind operates the same way. Speak less about what you plan to do and more about what you have already done. Let your achievements surprise people. When you declare your goal too early, you awaken competitors who would otherwise have remained asleep. When you act silently, you arrive before anyone realizes you've begun the journey. People are quick to judge intentions, even when they cannot understand them. A kind gesture is mistaken for manipulation. A quiet strategy is labeled arrogance. The truth is irrelevant. Perception rules every interaction. The wise understand this and never hand control of perception to others. By keeping your intentions veiled, you maintain control over your narrative. Others can speculate, but speculation divides their certainty. When your enemies cannot agree on what you truly want, they cannot unite against you. The greatest strategists understand the importance of misdirection. Sometimes the best way to protect your real intent is to feed others a false one. Appear distracted by something unimportant. Make them believe your interest lies elsewhere. Let them chase illusions while you quietly advance your true design. This does not mean lying. It means guiding perception, shaping what others believe is real. When people think they can read you, they stop watching closely. When they stop watching, you move freely. Your intent must also be hidden from emotion. Every decision you make should seem detached, almost accidental. Passion exposes purpose, calm disguises it. When you display too much excitement for a goal, others sense how much it means to you and begin to test its value. They push boundaries just to watch how far you'll go to protect it. But when you appear indifferent, your motives become unreadable. Indifference is a mask that conceals hunger more effectively than any lie. Even in conversations, learn the art of saying much while revealing little. People love to talk about plans, dreams, and ambitions. They believe that sharing these makes them appear confident or motivated, but in truth, it makes them transparent. Every shared ambition is a map to your vulnerabilities. Those who wish to control you will use that information to predict your choices and manipulate your emotions. Speak of ideas, not intentions. Discuss principles, not plans. Reveal just enough to appear open, but never enough to be understood. In negotiations or alliances, concealment becomes even more critical. Never make your ultimate objective visible to the other side. If they know what you truly desire, they will make you pay for it. Let them believe you want something smaller, something less valuable. That illusion keeps them comfortable while you prepare to take more than they imagined. The man who hides his intent not only wins but makes others believe he had no plan at all. That victory came by chance, not by design. Control of intent also means control of timing. Reveal too early and your power collapses under scrutiny. Reveal too late and your window of opportunity closes. The balance lies in appearing aimless until the precise moment your purpose must become undeniable. When you act, it should look as though everything fell into place naturally, as if fate itself bent toward your will. That illusion, the illusion of inevitability, is only possible when intent has been hidden long enough to seem non-existent. Observe how people treat those who expose their dreams. They mock them, doubt them, challenge them. But they fear those who stay silent. Silence makes others uncertain, and uncertainty breeds respect. You cannot be manipulated if your direction is invisible. The fewer people who understand what you want, the fewer who can stand in your way. Concealment gives you the freedom to move without resistance, to test without interference, and to strike without warning. To guard your intent is to guard your future. Every revelation narrows your possibilities because it defines you in the eyes of others. Once you are defined, you are limited. People expect certain things from you, and those expectations become invisible chains. But when no one knows what you truly seek, you can become anything, achieve anything, shift direction without question. Power lies in flexibility, and flexibility depends on secrecy. The one who masters the art of hiding intent does not just protect his goals. He controls the entire field on which they are played. Fear and respect are two faces of the same coin, and only the wise know how to control which side others see. People do not respect what they fully understand, and they do not fear what they can predict. The moment you reveal your fears, you hand others the key to your control. They may not strike immediately, but they will remember. The human mind is cruelly observant. It records weaknesses like a ledger. The smallest confession of insecurity becomes a debt you owe to their memory, and one day they will collect. To protect your authority, you must conceal the trembling parts of your nature that others would use to diminish your power. Those who seek admiration without strength end up surrounded by pity, not respect. Respect is never given freely. It is extracted through discipline, distance, and the quiet suggestion of danger. Fear, when balanced with composure, becomes the foundation of lasting authority. If people sense that you cannot be easily moved, that you do not flinch in crisis, they will respect you instinctively. But if they detect that you are desperate to be liked, or frightened of rejection, they will test your limits again and again, until you are stripped of all dignity. Human nature is drawn to dominance. Whether in a family, a friendship, or a kingdom, people unconsciously look for hierarchy. They want to know who leads and who follows. The moment you display too much emotion, too much doubt, or too much vulnerability, you step down from the invisible throne that authority builds. This does not mean you must be heartless. It means you must be impenetrable. The strong appear composed not because they feel nothing, but because they show nothing. They understand that even a flicker of visible fear can turn allies into opportunists and friends into critics. You must also understand that fear does not always mean cruelty. The kind of fear that sustains power is not built through threats or punishment, but through the aura of unpredictability. When people are unsure of how far you are willing to go, they tread carefully. When they cannot measure your emotional range, they stay within boundaries out of caution. Predictability kills influence. Those who know exactly what will offend you, what will please you, what will scare you, they already own pieces of your strength. By keeping your reactions controlled and your emotions disciplined, you create distance, and in that distance, respect begins to grow. There is a dangerous weakness in trying to appear harmless. People think that if they are gentle, agreeable, and endlessly forgiving, others will value their goodness. But goodness without power invites exploitation. The world does not pity the harmless, it consumes them. To be respected, your kindness must come from strength, not from need. When others know that your calm is a choice, not a consequence of fear, they admire it. When they sense that you can be kind but also unyielding, they respect it. When they realize you have the power to destroy but choose to build, they fear it. You must be careful in moments of vulnerability. When pain, failure, or betrayal strike, your instinct will be to seek comfort, to share, to confess, to find sympathy. But those who listen are not always allies. Many listen to measure your weakness, not to heal it. They file away your fears like ammunition. They may console you in the moment, but later they will remind you of what you once confessed, using it to keep you small. Every word of self-pity weakens the invisible structure of authority you've built around yourself. It is better to suffer in silence and rebuild privately than to seek comfort publicly and lose respect permanently. Respect is also a currency of self-restraint. The man who cannot control his anger or fear will always serve someone who can. Outbursts and panic may feel like release, but they reveal too much. People watch how you respond under pressure. That is when they decide whether to trust or to challenge you. A calm face in the middle of chaos inspires both fear and loyalty. It tells others that you see further than they do, that their panic does not infect your purpose. The one who masters his face masters the room. Even in power, balance is crucial. Excessive fear creates rebellion. Excessive familiarity breeds contempt. To be respected, you must remain close enough to be understood, but distant enough to be untouchable. Let others see your discipline, not your emotion. Let them sense your resolve, not your exhaustion. Appear compassionate when needed, but never fragile. The moment people feel that your emotions govern your logic, they will stop listening to your words and start managing your moods. The truly powerful are not those who feel less, but those who show less. Observe how people treat those who constantly seek reassurance. They nod politely, offer empty comfort, then quietly lose respect. Dependence breeds contempt faster than arrogance. If others believe that you need their approval to feel strong, they will begin to withhold it, just to see how you react. The antidote is self-containment. The one who needs nothing from others cannot be humiliated, and that freedom commands fear. It is not the loud, the angry, or the violent who are most feared. It is the calm, unreactive figure who watches everything and reveals nothing. The art of balancing fear and respect lies in emotional silence. You must learn to absorb pain without expression, to face betrayal without collapse, to endure insult without retaliation. Not because you are weak, but because every reaction wastes energy and exposes your humanity. Those who master emotional silence can bend others without raising their voice. They turn stillness into dominance. People mistake that stillness for confidence, for mystery, for power, and in their uncertainty, they become obedient without realizing it. Fear and respect are not given, they are engineered through behavior, composure, and silence. The more you control what others can see, the more they begin to imagine what they cannot. In that imagination lies both their fear of crossing you and their respect for your restraint strategy is the invisible architecture of power. A structure built not from bricks or steel but from foresight, patience, and concealment. The most fatal mistake a person can make is to reveal their plan before it takes shape. Once others know the direction of your steps, they begin to place stones in your path. Every word you speak about what you intend to do, every hint you give about your next move, invites interference. A strategy once seen is a strategy already weakened. True power operates in silence, behind curtains, where observation is limited and assumptions are many. A visible strategy becomes predictable. Predictability kills authority because it allows others to prepare. They begin to anticipate your logic, to measure your pace, to plan counters. Every move that can be anticipated loses its sting. But the hidden strategist creates an atmosphere of uncertainty. No one knows where the strike will come from, what the next decision will be, or what the true target even is. This confusion alone becomes a weapon. It divides attention, spreads fear, and keeps rivals reactive rather than proactive. The less they understand your plan, the more they must wait for your next move. And waiting is submission. Strategy demands not only planning but also deception. To conceal your true path, you must sometimes create illusions. Appear weak when you are gathering strength. Seem distracted when you are calculating your timing. Let people think your interests lie elsewhere while your real design unfolds unnoticed. Most minds are simple. They chase what they can see. Feed them false trails, let them feel clever for discovering them, and they will ignore the quiet movement happening beneath their feet. When the moment of revelation arrives, it will feel to them like an ambush. But to you, it was inevitable. Every successful strategist understands that patience is a weapon sharper than any sword. Those who rush to act reveal themselves. They show their hunger, and hunger can be exploited. A plan executed too early invites correction. A plan executed too late meets resistance. Timing is the pulse of power. You must wait until your opponent relaxes, until the guard lowers, until the environment aligns with your advantage. The undisciplined reveal their intentions in moments of impatience. The wise conceal theirs until the strike cannot be stopped. Do not confuse strategy with planning alone. Planning is mechanical, a list of steps and hopes. Strategy is psychological. It anticipates not only actions but reactions. It studies the minds of others, the patterns of behavior, the hidden fears and desires that shape decisions. A strategist does not simply move pieces on a board. He moves people without their awareness. He knows that the battlefield is never physical. It is mental. The one who controls perception controls the outcome long before the battle begins. When you reveal your strategy, you hand your opponents a script. They begin to act within it, to anticipate scenes, to plan endings. They will mirror your moves, counter your designs, and use your own words to trap you. This is why true masters of power never reveal more than fragments. They speak in riddles, half-truths, or abstractions that sound meaningful but lead nowhere. They make people believe they understand when in truth they are lost. Confusion, when used carefully, is the most elegant camouflage for intelligence. In any game of influence, whether in politics, business, or personal life, information is the rarest currency. The one who knows most but reveals least controls the market of minds. If people believe they understand your logic, they will build strategies based on false assumptions. And in that illusion, you gain ground without resistance. The wise strategist knows that winning is not always about superior strength. It is about superior perception. By letting others see only what you want them to see, you define the limits of their understanding. Strategy also requires emotional detachment. The impatient, the proud, and the easily offended sabotage their own plans. They act out of reaction, not design. Every insult, every doubt, every challenge becomes a test of self-control. You must learn to let people underestimate you, to let them believe they have won small battles. Every time they grow confident, they reveal more of their nature, their fears, their greed, their weaknesses. A good strategist gathers this information silently, storing it for the moment when a single strike will undo years of their arrogance. The wise never rush to win arguments, they wait to win outcomes. There is also power in appearing disorganized. When people think you lack direction, they stop watching carefully, they grow comfortable, they speak openly, they expose themselves. Use this moment to build quietly beneath their awareness. When the foundation of your plan is complete, when every piece is aligned unseen, the final move will appear effortless. Others will call it luck, fate, or coincidence, but you will know it was architecture, a structure of silence, calculation, and patience. A strategy must also adapt to its environment. The rigid mind loses to the flexible one. Plans that depend on perfection fail in the presence of chaos. The strategist embraces chaos, using it as camouflage. When others panic, he remains calm, adjusting course, turning every unexpected event into an advantage. His stillness amidst disorder makes him appear prophetic, as though he foresaw everything. In truth, he did not need to predict. He only needed to remain composed long enough to see opportunities others missed. When you keep your strategy hidden, even those closest to you remain uncertain of your full design. This distance protects your ambition from betrayal. Loyalty fades under pressure, but ignorance survives. A man cannot betray what he does not know. The fewer details you share, the fewer daggers can be shaped against you. Even your allies should understand only their part, never the whole. Divide knowledge, control flow, and ensure that only you see the entire map. That is how a strategist keeps the throne invisible yet untouchable. Silence, deception, and patience. These are not signs of fear but of foresight. The one who operates openly invites interference. The one who operates quietly dictates tempo. The battlefield belongs not to the loudest or the boldest, but to the one who moves unseen, who understands that real power lies not in being watched, but in being misunderstood. Emotion is the most dangerous form of exposure because it reveals what logic tries to protect. Every outburst, every confession, every visible reaction gives others a map of your inner world, a map they will one day use against you. The truly powerful do not lack emotion, they master it. They know that feelings are natural but expressions are optional. To rule others, you must first rule yourself, and that rule begins with emotional silence. Those who cannot command their own heart are doomed to serve the hearts of others. When your emotions lead you, your enemies do not need to fight you, they only need to provoke you. Control of emotion is control of perception. The world does not respond to what you feel, it responds to what you show. When you appear angry, you are seen as unstable. When you appear hurt, you are seen as weak. When you appear desperate, you are seen as dependent. The powerful man appears composed, not because he feels no pain, but because he refuses to let others see it. Emotion is currency. Spend it only where the return is greater than the cost. The more you reveal, the poorer you become. Every empire, whether built on land, influence, or reputation, has fallen not through lack of resources but through loss of control. The conqueror who lets pride dictate his judgment is already conquered. The lover who lets attachment replace clarity will one day beg for the freedom he willingly gave. The friend who cannot separate loyalty from emotion becomes blind to betrayal until it's too late. Emotion clouds perception, and perception is the compass of strategy. Once that compass breaks, every decision becomes guesswork, every reaction becomes predictable, and every enemy becomes braver. Those who manipulate others always begin by observing their emotions. They study what makes you react, what makes you angry, what makes you sentimental, what makes you jealous. Every emotion is a doorway into your mind, and once someone knows which one to knock, they control when and how you open it. By denying access to those doors, you deny manipulation its entrance. People cannot control what they cannot read. When they see no reaction, no emotional signal, they lose their script. They begin to guess, and in their guessing, they expose themselves. To master emotion is not to become cold, but to become precise. Emotion should be used as an instrument, not allowed to play you like one. There are moments when passion inspires power, when anger fuels courage, when sadness deepens insight, when love inspires greatness. But these emotions must serve your will, not command it. The wise use emotion like a sword, drawn only when necessary, aimed only at purpose, and sheathed immediately after. The weak swing it wildly and bleed themselves dry. There is strength in emotional distance. When others see that you are not easily provoked, not easily flattered, not easily hurt, they approach with caution. They measure their words carefully. They begin to respect your composure because it unsettles them. Emotional control is a mirror that reflects their instability back to them. In your calmness, they see their chaos. In your silence, they see their desperation. The one who keeps his emotions private becomes a storm contained in stillness. Unpredictable, restrained, and deeply feared. Attachment is another form of emotional exposure. The more you depend on someone for validation, comfort, or happiness, the more you hand them your leash. Dependence turns affection into vulnerability. When people know how deeply you need them, they no longer need to earn you. Power fades where need begins. You must learn to love without losing independence, to care without surrendering control. Possess emotions, but do not let them possess you. Let others feel your warmth, but never your dependence. In every game of influence, emotion is the first weapon used against you. Flattery is emotion disguised as praise. Insult is emotion disguised as challenge. Guilt is emotion disguised as morality. The moment you react, you validate their power. The strong do not rise to bait. They let it hang in silence until it rots. When someone insults you and you remain unaffected, you deny them their satisfaction. When someone praises you and you remain calm, you deny them the control of your pride. The world constantly tests who owns your emotions, you or the moment. The art of emotional secrecy also involves understanding your triggers. Every person has certain words, memories, or gestures that ignite reaction. The wise identify these triggers and dismantle them privately. You cannot control what you do not understand. Self-awareness is the beginning of self-dominion. The man who studies his emotions like an opponent learns how to predict them, contain them, and weaponize them when necessary. He does not let anger decide his words or love decide his fate. He allows emotion to whisper, but never to command. When you control your emotions, others begin to project theirs onto you. They mistake your stillness for arrogance, your silence for indifference, your composure for mystery. Let them. Misinterpretation is another form of control. The more they misunderstand your heart, the less they can strike it. Appear unreadable, and the world will respect your boundaries even when it resents them. People fear what they cannot label. An emotionless composure cannot be labeled. It becomes mythic, a power that feels larger than reason because it defies reaction. Emotional control does not mean emotional absence. It means your emotions answer to you, not to circumstance. There will be times when you must appear angry to command attention, times when you must seem moved to inspire trust, times when you must show affection to maintain loyalty. But each display must be deliberate, not spontaneous. You act the emotion without being consumed by it. You choose when to show it and when to withdraw it. The way a king decides when to reveal the crown. The mistake of the common man is that he wears his crown always. and invites others to reach for it. Power, in its truest form, belongs to those who do not flinch. They watch betrayal without panic, loss without despair, victory without arrogance. Their emotions move beneath the surface, deep and untouchable. No one can use them, no one can predict them, and no one can destroy them. That is why emotional secrecy is not only a defense. It is an empire built within the self, a fortress invisible to every eye but entirely indestructible from within.